fināla spēle.
Jā, es jau māju.
Mēģinām noskrēt kodu un tad, ja jūs noskrēsiet vismaz divus.
It's day 6 of the 2023 World Hockey Championship, and the host team Latvia is back in business after an overtime win over Czechia. In this last game, Latvia would dearly love to make a run to the quarterfinals, starting with the game today against Norway. And Norway, a knee-knocking 1-0 win over Slovenia in their last game, but they got it done. And for Tobias Johansson, the goal going forward now is to achieve, not avoid, as he said.
It's a good way of putting it. No longer about being relegated. It's about possibly dreaming of a quarter-final. And Latvia with some additions to the lineup. Renars Krastenbergs makes his tournament debut for Latvia.
Played a couple of years for the Oshawa Generals in the OHL. Played the Olympics for Latvia in 2022. The starting goaltender is 22-year-old Artur Silovs of the Vancouver Canucks. Spent most of the year with Abbotsford of the American Hockey League, but did play 5 games with Vancouver at a 3-2 record. And Henrik Hockman was terrific with a shutout win against Slovenia. Did not allow a goal on 18 shots against them. Hockman, the goalie of the year in the German league this year. They've played some close games over the years. Overall, Norway has just 4 wins in 14 games. Latvia won 3-2 last year.
But the year prior, Norway beat Latvia in a shootout.
Right.
So,
which was a crushing loss for Latvia. That tournament was here. And those lost 2 points for Latvia cost them a quarterfinal spot. This chant, by the way, can be heard throughout the city of Riga for the last 48 hours. First up, Gile pokes that back down to the Norwegian zone. Emil Liljeberg goes back to pick it up. Brought up by Marcus Vikingstad. Back down to the Latvian zone. And Bernd Paulsen was knocked off the puck. Urels Balcers plays up for Kaspars Dogovic. This top line goes back to work for Latvia. Balcers a wraparound try. Balls couldn't quite reach it. Dogovic tried to slide that back. Now does. But the pass missed. Janis Jaks. Kind of a double-edged sword for teams like Latvia, some of the smaller countries. Do you load up in the top line, or do you try to sprinkle that offense through your lineup?
To win games, you think they're only going to score 3. And the games they win are going to be 3-2 or 2-1. So whatever gets you to that number, go with that.
Oscars Batnia played that ahead. Roberts Bukart's a long shot with Batnia looking for the rebound. He had the overtime winner against Czechia that set this arena and this city off.
That will be one for the history books for Latvia. Get their first win over Czechia ever last game. And we have no rooting interest here. But even I was exhausted after the Latvian last game.
Right.
And for the players to try to reset, compose themselves, and then find the emotional energy to do it again.
With that win, by the way, Latvia has now beaten every team it's faced, every country it's faced, at least once at the World Championship. Beat Canada a couple of years ago. Zirkov spins back, throws that back in front. And the puck got away from Klaus Freebergs. Freebergs on his birthday. Moves out to Bukarts, and here's Freebergs back with it. Freebergs played for Litvinov in the Czech League this year. In his 7th World Championship, Latvia has more World Championship experience than any other team in the tournament. 12 of their players have played at least 4 World Championships.
Which would come in handy with the pressure of playing this one at home.
A very different situation than 2 years ago when fans were largely banned from the building. Now a turnover, they're like, oh, for the chance. That goes up and out of play.
Ludwig off trying to get Norway's first shot on Artur Silovs. Forecheck. Trying to get that first pressure. And then take the passing lanes away into the skates. Bad pass from Malinskis. Up with a quick little shot for Norway. And I think, again, Norway is going to be a counter-attacking team, a quick strike team, pounce on mistakes, score off the rush. They won't wear you out in the offensive zone.
Zarinch for the face-off. Also underway this hour, the United States and Austria in Tampere, Finland.
The US are off to a very solid start in this tournament.
Jam away at it behind the Latvian goal. Sabalski's lost his helmet. He's going to go off the ice. Lilleberg goes back, a rolling puck. Icing waved off. Krashes goes hard after him. Vikingstad. On for Olsen. Norstebo, long shot. Silov steers that away. Now brought back and a shot by Richards. Brukards goes wide. Latvia held the lead against Czechia twice. Allowed equalizers both times and won the game in overtime. And that puck is called offside at the Norwegian line.
Latvia with a 3-on-2, length of the ice opportunity, and ends up with Richards, Brukards with a one-timer from distance, probably not perfectly executed. I feel like getting that first one would be so big for Latvia. Energize the building, energize their legs. Probably a little bit tired today.
Although, as we've talked about before, of interest, Latvia plays 5 straight games in the tournament, including this one, where their opponent played the day before. The host country's allowed some leeway in the schedule.
Home cooking. Never hurt anybody. I was running the tournament. I'd have the other countries traveling between games somehow. Whatever.
Here's hoping playing double headers the day before.
Yes.
That point shot, broken stick, loose puck in front. Sondre Olden with a chance to a penalty coming to Latvia for a slash. So actually that broken stick at the point might have played in their favor a little bit, kind of an off-speed shot cut down to the goal. And as a result, Latvia takes a penalty as Roberts Mamchits goes off.
Right, this missed shot on the broken stick ends up all the way down on Olden's blade. He's taken to the net, trying to go backhand, and yeah, that's a pretty good tap into the hands that forces the chance wide. So Norway goes to the power play. It all started out so promising for Norway.
Yeah,
their first game, 2 power play goals against Kazakhstan. Last year in the tournament, they only scored 4 total.
Right.
And they were thinking, well, here we go, off to a good start. Now, after 3 games still,
2 goals.
2 power play goals for them.
They've had feathers since then.
Reverted to last year's form.
And the heartbreaking loss for them to Kazakhstan, up 2-0 and 3-1 in that game, lost in a shootout to Kazakhstan.
They would be in real...
They'd be in the mix.
In the mix for 4th spot.
Tough schedule ahead. They got Czechs, Canada, Slovakia remaining after this. And it's a descending schedule in a lot of ways for Latvia. Norway, Slovenia, Kazakhstan, their next 3. They close against Switzerland. Bouncing puck with a long shoot-in. And Martin Zierkal's almost reached that.
How many times have we seen Latvia do that? Intentionally from their side of the red line, take slappers onto the goalie and go crashing in for rebounds. A lot of pressure to hit the net, I suppose, but it's 4 or 5 times over this first few games they elect to skip one in.
Sabalski sends that back down the ice, and the veteran kid Andre Olden back for it, his 10th World Championship. He and his brother Mathis were mainstays for the Norwegian national team for the better part of a decade. Haga throws that back in front, picked off by Kenic and sent back down the ice. Loose puck on the side of the goal, thrown in by Ole England Anderson. England Anderson shoots, saved by Sealands, rebound, got blocked in front, the puck rolls wide off the stick of Andreas Martinsson. Kept alive at the point by Johannesson.
Was it?
Johannesson plays it across. Sondre Olden moves in, his stick broke, and that's played out.
That obviously hit off Solden's stick. There's no way Chuksta can fire it 40 rows up from that back foot effort. Here's a big one-timer. That's heavy, and the rebound's right there for Solden. Oh, another shaft of a stick.
That was Chuksta, who blocked a couple of shots.
Flying in. And yes, this is shorthanded, but if you're gonna, that is a dirty skipper. And if you're gonna send guys in after the puck, you gotta hit the net, whether it's 5-on-5 or 5-on-4. Otherwise, they'll be trapped in there deep, so something to watch. But that's a tremendous block. Chuksta has been sacrificing himself all tournament long.
And the game against Czechia, which had a couple of late power plays in the third period, he turned in some huge shot blocks. Norstevo to Haga, who had both those power play goals against Kazakhstan. Norstevo takes the return pass for Haga, shoots! And Silovs makes the same short side. Haga, Norstevo, Olam walks it and shoots, and Silovs got the arm on that. It bounces high in the slot, picked up by Olam. Final seconds now on this power play. Tretinez, Haga. Haga feeds that back. Norstevo walks it and shoots. Fired that wide. And as Matt Cheeks sets back on the ice. Friberg. Kapatya couldn't clear that out. Olsen chips at it. And Zabolskis plays it back to center ice. If you're wondering when these fans quiet down, they don't. It's a fantastic atmosphere. Vikings had long shot, that deflected wide. Balinskis moves it back out. In comes Balinskis, drops it off to Dogovic. The captain holds and shoots. That deflected wide. Off the stick of Krogdal. Here now is Krastenbergs. Tied up in front of the Latvian bench, and Silovs back to pick it up. Silovs, a Vancouver 6th round pick in 2019. Their backup today is Kristus Gudlevskis, who turned in one of the greatest goaltending performances in Latvian hockey history in the 2014 Olympics. Badly outshot by Canada. Got a chance in front, that's flipped wide. By Jörg Bukart, he skips down and gloved by Hockland. Latvia almost beat Canada that day. Scoreless here in the first period against Norway. Back here in Riga, Tampere, the other host city for the World Hockey Championship. Tampere was one of the hosts last year, but there were travel restrictions still in place. Tampere didn't get the full benefit of fans from other country being able to come. They get a second bite at the apple. So does Riga, which hosted the entire tournament here and across the street in another venue in 2021. But fans not allowed in. The city was locked down. The players were bubbled.
A positive reminder, I guess, of what we were missing those years.
Sure.
And we kind of reset here and get a normal rhythm of the schedule for this tournament.
And it's been fantastic.
And experience of this tournament. Not just the hockey, but the entire experience has been great so far.
And the best yet to come. 2 quarterfinals here next week. Semis. Bronze and gold medal games will be in Tampere on the final weekend.
Latvia thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could host a quarterfinal here at home? Now, if they're able to win in regulation today, they'll leapfrog over top of Norway.
Yeah.
They'll leapfrog over top of Slovakia, albeit with challenging schedule upcoming for Norway for sure. They basically got to run the table the next 3 games. Norway, Slovenia, Kazakhstan.
3 points for a regulation win in the IIHF format, and historically you've needed between 10 and 12 points to get to the quarterfinal. Latvia with a win today would go to 2-2. However, the win over Czechia was in overtime, so worth only 2 points. That would give them 5.
But Slovenia and Kazakhstan on the horizon.
Right.
Win-win. That gets him 11.
Yeah.
Penalty coming up to Batya.
Yeah, Batya took down.
Kazakhstan behind.
Yeah, Christian Kazakhstan went down hard. Slow going back to the bench. So now an interference call will go against the hulking Oskars Batya. All 6'5", 235 pounds of him. That's interference with a capital I.
And if you're Latvia, you want to give yourself a chance to get going in the game, but they're jousting with each other. That's not interference. That is not. Kazakhstan lost an edge, loading up for contact that didn't occur. Looked like it was on the ice. I understand why the call was made, but in the replay, that was not. This has been an issue for Norway. You talked about their power play, scoring twice in the first game against Kazakhstan, but in the game against Switzerland, they trailed 2-0 in the third period. They had 3 straight power plays, including a 5-on-3, and couldn't connect. You think with the bigger ice, getting zone entries would be not as hard. Sondre Olden winds in, plays that back around. Eric Salston has that taken away. Dogovic back with it. And it's amazing with Norway. They have good skaters, and they have a hard time getting set up. And then, you know, breaking down the penalty killer once you're set up is a different kind of challenge. But they don't even get the first leg of the operation done. They can't get to their set with control. Olsen on it. That's picked up by Zirkals. Latvia has been very aggressive on the penalty kill throughout this tournament. We talked about the long skippers they send in. They've also not been shorthanded that much. Only the 8th time in the 4th game they're playing. Haga winds in, plays it back across. Put back in by Matthias Trettenes. Dominus Sapolskas who sends it down. They just can't get it set up, can it? No, you think the cross and drop, drive it deep, stop it up. It seems easier said than done, but Haga giving it a whirl. Haga comes sliding it across the line, drops it back for Trettenes. He rings it around. That's the play, Trettenes ringing it around. That's the lazy, low-risk, ineffective play, because it leads to this. You got to make a skill play on the half wall there, and then your heads up. Worst of all, this point, jeez Louise. Put that right by his ear on the way out. But that's why you're out there, because you have to make a pass through a body, underneath the stick, to a point man, and then everything settles down. If you don't, nothing happens. Teams are back to even strength here midway through the opening period. They have played very close games. And, you know, the loss to Norway 2 years ago really stung Latvia. That was a crushing defeat on home ice. After so much good work prior to that. In comes Dogovic on it. And a penalty coming out of Norway. That's going to go to Isaac Hansen. He finally gets a shift. And he takes a penalty.
Norway, number 2, minor penalty for holding.
So a holding penalty to Isaac Hansen of Norway sends Latvia to the power play. Fed back across, Dogovic a drive, that goes just wide. Nice play underneath the forward, right off a face-off. Belinskas slides it down to Adrashis. bouncers to Andrashis. Back to Belinskas. In comes Andrashis, loves to shoot, feeds it down, return pass. A-ball's brought down, flip that wide. Andrashis walks in, trying to pass that across. Bogovic couldn't reach it. A chance now for Norway, short-handed. Krogdahl works in, got poke check there. It's loose in front, backhand shot, penalty coming to Latvia. A quick chance there for Harvard Salston. He's turned away, but Bogovic got a stick on him, and the power play's over for Latvia.
Number 16, minor penalty for slashing.
Bogovic knew he was in trouble. Deflected pass, Krogdahl takes off, and he's on the wrong side. One slash comes around the other side. There's one, there's two, and then in the end, it ends up on Salston. Sticky essentially has a breakaway here. And it's blocked again. Nix Andrashis gets a piece of it right in front to steer it aside. So a little 4-on-4 here for a minute 20. Or Norway will go back to another power play.
Isaac Hansen has a minute 20 to go in his penalty. By the way, he played, or he took a shootout attempt in the opening game against Kazakhstan. He did not
play a second.
Did not get a shift in regulation overtime. Only the second time in the history of this tournament that a player took a shootout attempt without registering a minute of ice time, or a second of ice time.
Who was the first?
Happened in 2018.
You gotta be some kind of specialist.
That's a very narrow specialty.
Or if you're hurt, or if you have like a bad groin, you can't skate, but you can maybe take a shootout.
Centering pass, missed Batya.
And the best part about it is Isaac Hansen's a defenseman.
Right.
It's not like he's a forward.
Played in the Swedish Junior League, had 5 goals this year, but the 19-year-old got tabbed to take a shootout attempt. Must be good in practice.
Apparently. Go what the numbers tell you to do, apparently.
Yeah. Running now by Haga. Tied up by Smirnovs. And now Chukste has it back. Freybergs goes back with it. Lead pass to Smirnovs with Norway changing. Smirnovs shoots. Hawk with a save on that. Out of the box comes Hansen. He's beaver tapping for it. They couldn't find him. Eric Salston a shot. Rebound loose in front. Eric Salston couldn't reach that. What a great chance there for Norway. Martinson lines it back across on the Norwegian power play. Kennich broke it up. And Kennich feeds it back down to the Norwegian zone. Rough translation of that chant is keep going or go on. Play scramble to the line offside on the Norwegian power play, which has just ended.
13 minutes of the game. There's been 4 minors called already, so not a lot of 5-on-5 play. Another opportunity here after Hansen jumps out of the box. And a rebound kicked over. Looks like he's going to have an open net, Salston, but he just rolls off the heel of his stick.
Sabalskas dove to block it.
It's such a tight angle. He's trying to flick it softly to create a bit of a buffer, and just it's going to be a difficult shot to execute. Although, if you always fired in front, a lot of bodies and stuff in there that he can hit and bank in the net.
So 3 power plays for Norway here in the first period.
That chance was a power play chance. It was off a rush. They got out of the box. They haven't really generated a chance off an end zone setup on the power play, despite getting 3 looks at it.
Lilleberg, long shoot in. Knocked down for Belinskas. Josh has got spun around at center ice, and Belinskas is back for it. To Andrashis. Jumps it across the line for Zaric. Zaric back for Andrashis. Vikingstad moves up for Hoff, but racing back to break that up was Andres Zaric. Ern Paulson with it. Scored the only goal Norway got against Slovenia, the 1-0 winner. Batya. Rink line to Richards. Buchard shoots. That's stopped by Hawkland. Remchits drops it back to Richards Buchards. Centers it. Mr. Drashes with that pass. Hoff racing to it. End of a shift, though. He'll dump it and send it down. You finally get a chance for an odd man rush at the end of your shift.
That's where you're going to find that extra gear, Coach. The best offensive players somehow have a little bit left in the tank.
There's that reserve tank you can tap into.
Use only break in case of offense.
No chance in front. Zerkal turned away. Press the turbo button once.
That's the Sergei Berezin, Mike Comrie special. A couple former teammates of mine.
William Nylander.
William Nylander exhausted until there's a chance.
5:14 to go in the opening period. No score between Latvia and Norway. Back here in Riga, Latvia, no score between Norway and Latvia. Norway scored on its first 2 power plays of the tournament. 0 for 11 since. Kennich, long shot goes wide.
And they're in so many close games.
Historically, that's been the case. I mean, they lose some one-sided ones once in a while, but not very often. Sabalskas goes back and shoots. That floats wide. A funny bounce off the end boards. Just kind of died there.
The dead spot in the parquet floor. Boston Garden.
Freybergs slaps that ahead to Krastenbergs. Trying to thread that head for Smirnov. He was tied up. Tretinez plays it back around. Olden just marks him with that pass. Nicely called against Norway.
I think we're seeing Latvia has a game plan to put pucks in on the legs of Henrik Hockland. We've seen a lot of shots that are low danger shots, but looking to create something off of rebounds. Big white pads of Hockland's. Spit them out into the slot.
Polinskas slides that back to Balcers. His shot goes off Martinson. Held there by Belinskas. Winds his way in. Belinskas trying to chop that back in front. That's knocked out by Johannesson. Back comes Tretinez. Drops it off for Martinson. Martinson taken down there by Abels. At the point is Johannesson. Plays it back down to Olden. Tretinez tries to pull that free. Olden cut up by Chukste. And Balcers has it back for Dogovic. The Latvian captain, Dogovic, winds his way in, shoots, and Hockland makes a stop on that.
Cal Kasper's Dogovic at the hotel this morning, staying at the same hotel as us. And had a quick word in the lobby as they were getting prepared to leave to the game. And when you see him, he is a stocky 5'10".
Yes.
He says listed at 6 feet. He is not, but he is that low center of gravity. You see him deceptively quick skater, but strong because his center of gravity is so low. Able to power his way through a lot of checking. Had a quick joke about how much fun they enjoyed the other game against Czechia, having won it. Asked me if I got a good night's sleep that night. I said, forget about me, did you?
Well, the thrill of playing in a World Championship on home ice, especially for a country like Latvia, Really rare. They've hosted it. This is the third time. Olsen comes in and shoots. That's blocked. 06, 2 years ago and now. But to play in front of these fans who are renowned for their passion, their noise,
their stamina.
Yes, that's a good point. Vikingstad shoots. That goes wide. And for Latvian players, there's no domestic league anymore. Collapsed. So the players on this team play in 13 different leagues in 10 different countries. Scattered all over Europe, some in North America.
There was a couple of years ago where basically 80% of the team came from the same club team.
From Dynamo Riga, right here.
They played together in this building on a team that was in the KHL then.
Alan Salting shoots. That one just wide. Brought in by Vasterholm. Zier calls. Lays that down. Krogdahl picks it up with Roberts Bukarts. Looking for that loose puck. Bukarts, the older of the two brothers. Sabalskas pokes that to the line and out. Kenich on the forecheck, turns it over. Works right in and rolled off his stick. Kenich works out of the corner with it. Kenich gives it back for Krastenberg. He was fencing there with Johannesson. Held by Sabalskas. Inside 2 to go here in the opening period. Krastenberg trying to work that free. Bounces to Smirnov with the side of the goal. Kola out to center ice, and Sabalskas is back to pick it up. Krastenberg chips after Kenich, and Hockman out to play it. Now run it by Haga, takes that return pass. Haga winds across the top and fires that back in. A-balls now drop back to Sabalskas. Martinson bumped by Balsers. Balsers up-ended Dogovic. That pass rolled off his stick. Olden's got it back. Andre Olden to Martinson, trying to flip that head. Dogovic broke it up and fires it back down to the Norwegian zone. USA and Austria scoreless after one period in Tampere. Chukstad up to the Norwegian line. It was off the stick of Krogdahl into the penalty box and out of play.
Not many good looks in this first period, but Ronald Kenich almost was gifted one by Engelin Anderson. Overskates this one, taps it right to him, but Kenich is so surprised. He also overskates it. He's looking at the goaltender. Oh, sticky puck or what's going on there, but two guys in a row.
Someone
mishandle it.
Someone buttered it.
Kenich can really shoot it. He was probably thinking grab and wheel and fire.
He's a hard-working player for this Latvian team. Does a lot of forechecking, killing penalties. Played Lausanne in the Swiss League this year. 3 yards. Bukart's long shot. Hockman down. Quickly gets the catching glove down to cover that.
It's one of those rebounds we're talking about. Right off a face-off, Bukarts comes across the back of the circle. And even though he's getting chased pretty hard, get it to the front of the net, but good job by Vikingstad. He loses the face-off to Zeric, but doesn't let him go anywhere near the goaltender. So even though it's a bad rebound, Krogdahl crashing into his own goalie. No Latvian forward was near it.
Krogdahl winds his way out to Olsen. Time winding down here in the period. Olsen walks right in. Rolling puck. Backhand shot. Berg Paulsen with a chance. And now a pileup ensues. I believe they were calling a crease violation initially.
For 14 people? It's a 5-on-5 scrum.
Maybe it was a crowding violation. And Josh is into it.
That was
Krogdahl.
That was a rugby scrum in the crease. Shilov's lost track of the puck. Eventually it was poked out the back door. Don't think it ever got close to the goal
There's
line.
at least one penalty coming out of this. And I wonder if it's the only one.
How could there only be one?
Well, Josh's is going.
Kazastool barreled into Shilovs, and that's what drew Andras's attention.
So Kazastool's going to go as well.
Frontal hog ties Andras's after the check. So here's it. That's fine. Everything's okay until Kazastool comes in here. Watch 49. And skates right on into the goaltender, and then that draws the attention once the whistle goes. Puck is cleared by Yanis Yaks. We barely saw that. We'll see it one more time if we can. 72 Yaks puts his hand on the puck and pulls it to the corner. We'll see one more time. We had a rough and a slash matching minor, so 4 on 4 after all that. But
did Yaks close his hand on the puck?
And was it in the crease? One more look. So 72 will be on the left side. There's 70. Watch his hand on the left side of your screen. It reaches down. Oh, he saves it with his skate and covers it and pulls it.
But it was out of the crease.
No, it wasn't. Not when he put it on. It was in the crease. First of all, the kick save was spectacular.
Yes, there was that.
And then I thought he was in the blue paint and then pulled it out. What a save by Yaxel. That is well done.
So 4 on 4 here in the dying seconds. That's shot wide by Balcers. Close call there. And time expires. Norway gets 3 power play opportunities in the opening period. A couple of close chances. Shots even at 9, and the score 0-0 after 20.
Score after the first period. Latvia 0, Norway 0. Shots on goal in the first period. Norway 9, Latvia 9. You counted the score after the first period.
Okay, boys, I need white first. Wish you a good one, okay? Let's go. Hey, hey! We're good, thank you. Move! Loose, boys! Loose! Let's go, boys, good battle here. Good.
Teams will start the second period, 4-on-4, minute and 40 seconds left, and the penalties to Mix Indrashis and Christian Kastastul after that wild melee in the Latvian crease.
They lost on all of it was, I think, the save by Yanis Yaks that swept it off the goal line with his skate.
Yeah.
In behind Artur Silovs, who was tidy in the first period.
Henrik Hockland, who had an inauspicious World Junior Championship debut in 2014, he allowed 21 goals in his first 2 games.
That's a lot.
9 years later, he's the German goalie of the year. So
he was great in Dusseldorf this year.
Yeah.
217 goals against and a 920 save percentage.
The 2 keys to goaltending: a good glove hand and a bad memory.
Yeah.
Balcers brings it out. Scoring chances pretty even in that first period.
Both teams doing a nice job keeping a lot of bodies back, protecting the front of the net. Not a lot of odd man rushes either way.
A little bit of work sent up, looked offside. The play continues. Balcers, that's what review's for. Here's A-Balls with it. A-Balls has a man streaking ahead. Finds Belinskas in, shoots. Huck with the save on that. Rebound loose in front. And a penalty coming now. A-Balls drops it back. Yak shoots. That was blocked. Rebound. That was blocked. Dogovic steps on. Furious pressure here by Latvia in the opening minute of the second period. Yaks. To A-Balls. A-Balls drops that back to Belinskas. Yanis Yaks. Back for A-Balls. Walks in and shoots. That's blocked as well. But Latvia maintains possession. Dogovic. Back to Yaks. Here's A-Balls, walks right in and dribbles down, and Hockman makes the stop.
Finally get a whistle.
It'll be Thomas Berg-Paulsen who goes off, and Latvia gets an early power play here in the second.
What a rush here by Belinskas. Turns on the jet stick. Nice pass for A-Balls. He's in alone. Good glove save by Auckland. And then all chaos ensues. There's a trip by Berg-Paulsen on the back check. Desperation. Guy's just diving in front of it left and right.
Krogdahl blocked the first one.
Hockman's got to deal with his Viking stat, tripping him up. Stays with the play. There's the interference or tripping penalty on Berg-Paulsen against Balcers. Best chances of the game for Latvia.
Latvia had 1 power play chance in the first. They went 0 for 4 in the power play, a 2-1 loss. Slovakia, that's centered for Zirkov. Another chance, Hockman, great stop there. Rihards Bukarts put the rebound wide. Roberts Bukarts tries that pass back in front. Rihards Bukarts had it poked away by Olsen as Thomas Olsen reached in, got a stick on that. Rihards Bukarts walks in, stolen by Olam, and Ken Andreolam sends it down the ice.
That was the risk when you had the extended 5-on-4 with the goal after the delayed penalty. You chewed up a lot of 4-on-3 time.
Right.
Which would have been much more attractive than 5-on-4 time.
Nice thing waved off as Johannesson sends that to the line, but not up, held by Zirkov.
That'd be one where if you're really in tune with what's going on, take the puck, make a quick play to the net hard. Then if you score, great. If they get a whistle, great, because you'd rather have more time, up to a minute at 4-on-3.
Bukarts goes after it. Here's Balcers. Back around to Roberts Bukarts. Swings that down to Dogovic. Dogovic. Looks back to Yaks. To Dogovic. A-Ball's posted up in front. Backdoor pass. And a quick shot by Andrasius is turned away by Hockman.
So many times Latvia's getting the puck and looking to find that shot for a tip. There's another one. That was got through to Zirkov. Brilliant save by Hockland. And that actually caught his blocker, even though it was turned all the way over. But this is an excellent save. But so often from that angle, Latvia's trying to find sticks instead of trying to find the back of the net themselves. Sometimes shots and rebounds are just as good.
What's the coaching expression? Don't pass the puck into the net.
I tried for my entire career.
Works sometimes.
Sometimes. Probably, and you see the way that Norway's taking away sticks and tying up, like just bombing it on net.
Face up won by Hayballs, and Drashes back to Belinskas for Dogovic. Tries that again, blocked by Johannesson. Dogovic. Hayballs takes the return pass, walks in, slides that down, comes up the other side. Albert Salsted looks ahead. He's got Olsen busting in. Couldn't reach in with the pass. There, Belinskas was hammered there by Liljeberg. The defenseman is caught up the ice. Dogovic winds in, drop back, Hayballs in, shoots, scores! Rodrigo Hayballs, power play goal. Latvia takes the lead.
Nice finish on the counterattack, but it's all because Liljeberg runs to the far end looking for a big hit on Belinskas. So Hayballs gets the trailer on a 3-on-2. Great celebration from Balcers. He's running like a little kid, and he didn't even score it. Nice move by Dogovic. Drop. That's why you shoot the puck, or don't pass it. Shoot it past the goaltender. These guys have great shots. They can do that. Hayballs comes through against Norway to open the scoring for Latvia. But Liljeberg, you're short-handed. You get a big hit on Belinskas, but you're caught way in deep, leaving the forwards back there to try to play defense, and that's never a good idea.
Hayballs has his second of this World Championship. She talked about him before the game, a guy they looked to. They loaded up that top line. Balls is a 7th-round pick by Vancouver back in 2016. Salsted moves it back out. Ola, backhand shot, that goes just wide. So now Norway playing from behind. Brought in by Kennich. Kennich, break wide, score! Toms Anderson.
What a shot by Toms Anderson. That is a textbook 3-on-2. Fortunately, Tobias Johansson is not happy one bit, giving it to his team. Get caught off ice. So center lane drive, open up the seam. That's a heck of a pass. Smirnoff drives through. Kennich has to float this one across though. Drops it right on the button. And Anderson elevates it just enough to scrape the top of the pad and in, but down one, Norway gets caught in deep again. And Latvia, on another 3-on-2, makes the pay.
Goals 39 seconds apart. And it's a 2-0 Latvian lead. Toms Anderson has been in Switzerland since the age of 16. Plays for Chaux de Fonds in the Swiss league, their second league.
Big time scorer in that league at 65 points in 47 games. So
Olympics for Latvia in 2022. This is his World Championship debut.
that is a very hard pass to hit. Coming hard, it's in the air. You got to catch it just right.
Trentinez with it. Boy, that overtime win over Czechia just turned everything around for Latvia. Now a chance to potentially run the next 3 games, including this one. Get yourself right in contention for a quarterfinal spot. We've got Slovenia on Friday, Kazakhstan on Saturday. And again, those 3 teams all played the day before. Running out, Rihards Bukarts walks in, shoot, just missed. Brought back by Olsen. Olsen spins back, Thomas Olsen The line, Krogdahl shoots, that's kicked out. And back it goes to the Norwegian zone. Norway should be safe with their win over Slovenia, that 1-0 knee knocker yesterday.
They have a shootout loss as well.
Right.
So that 4th point allows them a little leeway in case Slovenia does something unusual.
Here's Bukart shoots, that's off the stick of Lilleberg. Up and out of play.
We're scoreless through 1, not a lot of great looks, and then all of a sudden, here comes the second period. Rodrigo A-balls on the power play, and 39 seconds later, Tom Anderson. And those are the drills you do in practice every day, 3-on-2s. How to create a shot, how to work triangles, great lanes, and make skill plays. They do it twice in a row to jump out to a 2-0 lead.
Dogovic shoots, that was blocked. Chukstay sends that back in. From the line, Chukstay shot deflects wide. Norstable lost to the A-balls. Balcer's back with it. Down he goes to Dogovic, trying to find it. Dogovic does. Chukstay moves up from his blue line spot. Dogovic. Drink wide he goes. Yaks with a shot. He hammered that wide. That was the same as the goal by Anderson's a moment ago. Freberg to Yaks. Back to A-balls. Backhand shot blocked. That deflected wide. Dogovic. Throws that back. Yaks walks right in, shoots. And that was blocked by Hoff.
About his 3rd block of the shift for Ludwig Hoff.
He's limping noticeably. Dogovic walks out of the corner. The Latvian captain slides it back. Yaks a hard shot. That went wide. Hoffman was screened. And Hoff gets a forearm in the face for his trouble, putting that puck out. That was a hard shift. Frebergs works in. Chips that back down the Norwegian zone. Eric Salston. Lines back in. Dropped back in by Kennich. Haga back with it. Zirkals swings back, plays it back ahead for Belinskas. And Belinskas winds in. Pivots back, drops that down to Zirkals. Zirkals down for Roberts Bukarts. Roberts Bukarts in for Batna. That pass missed. Johannes was moved up the puck by Zirkals. Moved up by England Anderson. Haga. England Anderson high off the glass, picked off by Roberts Bukarts. Drops that back. Namchits. Feeds it back in. Johannesson being lined up there by Zeric. And chipped that down the Latvian zone as Zile goes back to pick it up. Squirts down to Hoffman, and he'll hang on to that. 2-0 Latvia leads here in the second. Norway time in Riga. Coming up at 5:30 local time on this Wednesday afternoon.
You didn't have to specify the time because when Latvia is playing, it's always party time here.
Tonight, Canada will take on Kazakhstan here. U.S. with a 1-0 lead on Austria. Rocco Grimaldi.
He is having himself a tournament so far.
Playing for the first time for a U.S. national team in a decade.
Fans of the Montreal Canadiens are smiling.
Chukstay. There's Bukarts for Krastenberg. That plays offside. At the Norwegian line, Kassa still got to stick it at Krastenberg. Didn't like that very much. Gets a one right back.
You like the spirit, but you don't like the timing. You're up 2-0. Everything's going your way. Don't give Norway any reason to get a cheap power play. A little tap there. Viking stat on the way in on the forecheck. Darren doesn't get the call. That's why he was irritated, but you're Latvia. You want to keep playing aggressive, play in the offensive zone, but don't give up a cheap power play.
Eric Salston slides that back down the Latvian zone. Norstavo shoots. That whistle's wide. Liljeberg back on it. Liljeberg plays that back. Norstavo's shot deflects wide. The penalty coming now as Eric Salston was dumped.
It's got to go to Salston.
Yeah, he's going to get it because he stepped into Dogovic, and Dogovic is down.
He went with the cold shoulder, but he got a little too high with the cap of the shoulder blade. Now Dogovic, 5'10". Salston, 6 foot. Looks like he got him in the head a little bit.
Two referees are talking it over.
Great look from the ref cams, what he sees. So he hadn't got the puck there yet, Gord. That's what makes it interference.
Right.
And then if he gets the chicken wing elbow out, then you're talking about elbow.
They want the linesman in here to talk it over as well and see what they.
Dogovic holding his nose like it might not be in one piece anymore.
Team Norway, number 17, the penalties under review.
So they've called a 5-minute major. They'll review it and see if it goes down to 2 or not.
Dogovic wants to go show the referee some of the evidence, which is his nose. Maybe not entirely the same shape it was in at the start of the shift. So it could be a pivotal part of this game. Salston has the right idea, but no, he doesn't get him in the nose there, does he? He has him right on the chin. Absolutely interference for him. Absolutely. No one's got near the puck. Does his helmet hit his face?
I think so.
And then he gets it with the side of the head. Yeah, there's the cut on the bridge of the nose of Dogovic.
That's from the visor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's from. I would say no. This is going to go down to a 2.
Druid on the Latvian bench attending to Dogovic.
What do you say on this power? 5 or 2?
2.
I think so.
You?
I'm 2 as well.
Yeah.
Unless they're swayed by the blood. And then, I don't know if that factors into it, but
I think it's 2.
they didn't take too long to look at it. Probably an indicator that it's going to go down.
The officials walking by Salston on their way back on the ice.
They're still in the game.
After reviewing the play, Team Norway, number 17, this assessed the minor penalty for checking to the head.
Yeah, 2 for a check to the head.
Check of the head. Could call it interference. Either one would be appropriate. I think that's the right call. They got there in the end. Dogovic no worse for wear other than a cut in the bridge of his nose, and Latvia to the power play. And a third goal here would really, really stretch it out to a good spot for Latvia.
Norway's only scored 4 goals in its first 3 games. Latvia's last quarterfinal appearance was in 2018, their only quarterfinal appearance in the last decade. If they could play a home playoff game here, look out. The chance here, in shoots to the short side.
I've seen that shot before from Zirkals. He likes going upstairs.
Spun out by Olsen, another penalty coming to Norway. Anders Bukarc just
recognition, well done.
To Robert Salston, and so now a tripping penalty will send Latvia to a 5-on-3 for a minute and 42. And that's Thomas Olsen going on.
Team Norway, number 18, final penalty for tripping.
Work by Zaric on the face-off. Zirkals just misses. The puck goes over the corner. Olsen trying to put pressure on Zirkals the other side, and he loses body position, skates it in the back of the legs. That's a common tripping penalty we've seen in this tournament. And so now it's a monumental task. A minute 42. 5-on-3 for Latvia.
Wins the face-off. Balsers gets to it though. On the other side, Dogovic back out there. Poke check by Leonberg. That's Oldham sending it down the ice. Sealov's kind of sprawled the
paddle down. Yeah, make sure it doesn't go to the red line.
A-Balls drops it off for Dogovic. And Latvia gets set up. Lots of time here on a 5-on-3. Dogovic. Back to Balinskis. A-Balls. Roberts Bukarc. Back for Balinskis. Bukarc, A-Balls shoots. That was blocked by Berg Paulson. Back at the corner, Roberts Bukarc. A-Balls. Back for Bukarc, skipped away from him. And Bukarc stays on it. Work free by Dogovic. Who's puck on the side of the goal. Oh, to the line, but not up. Balinskis to Balsers to Dogovic. Dogovic wides in, feeds across. A-Balls walks it and fires. Blocker saved by Hockland. Higher penalty comes on the ice now. These three have been up there a while. Dogovic shoots. Hockland blocker save. Roberts Bukarc rolling puck, settles it down. And now Hockland's mask is
got jarred by a previous shot. Popped the strap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Dogovic got a good shot. A-Balls has a good shot. That's the one that caught the side of the head of Hockland. Off his own guy's stick. Lilleberg tipped it up in there, but not a lot of creativity there from Latvia. They're working around the point and taking wristers from 35 feet is something that you will concede, killing a 5-on-3.
Zaric for the face-off against Tretinez. Tretinez wins it back to Kasastul. He bangs off the boards to center ice. Zirkals. Lines that back. Yaks to Bukarc off the side of the goal. The fans on one side thought he'd scored. So the Twine move. Now Yaks fires at the goalpost. Eric Salton's back on. Still 12 seconds of power play time left. Kenich. Rehards Bukarc. Back to Kenich. Kenich in front for Zirkals. That pass misfired. Teams are back to 5-on-5 as Olsen steps back on. Tretinez out for Olsen. Race to it. Eric Salston. Now Zirkals slides that back to Yaks. 7.5 to go here in the second period. Austria has tied the game. Thomas Raffel has scored again for Austria. 1-1 there. Here, Kastenberg's a shot. Hockland to save on that. Olam. Mario Hennison. Laid offside. Called against Norway. 7:07 to go. 2-0 Latvia leads in the second. 6 of the 2023 World Hockey Championship. Host team Latvia kickstarted its quarterfinal hopes with an overtime win over Czechia on Monday. They're looking to continue the rule going against Norway. Kostenberg swings that back in front that was knocked away from Anderson's. Pass is still stolen by Kostenberg, but it's loose at center ice. Top 4 teams in each 8-team group reach the quarterfinals. Normally, the 3rd and 4th place teams would travel to the other city to play the top 2 seeds. However, if Latvia makes the quarters, even as a 3rd or 4th seed, they'll play their playoff game here. Same for Finland in Tampere.
And it's quite likely that Finland finishes 3rd or 4th.
That has an impact on the teams above them in the standings. So the first place team would stay home.
So also the second seed's got to travel.
Yeah, right. A-ball feeds it across. Just missed Dogovic with that pass. And in the case of Group A, it would mean traveling here to play, then going back to Tampere the next day. Balcers plays it back. And Sabolska shot that wide.
Uh-oh.
2-on-1. Hoff. Vesterheim. Hoff. In. Shoots. Scores! Ludvig Hoff gets Norway back in the game.
Good for Ludvig Hoff. He's played a hard game defensively. And Norway was waiting for their opportunity to kill off the long 5-on-3. And Riga A-ball gets all tangled up here at the blue line. As he tries to pick off that pass, missed it with his foot. Hoff has snuck in behind him. And he comes down and gets that stick to the inside. Doesn't look to pass. Look at the eyes. Just monitoring it, the tongue out like he's Michael Jordan. Snapped it by Seelovs to get Norway within 1 in a period where they've been absolutely dominant. That was their first shot on net. Shots had been 12-0 up to that point. But a lack of power play has kept Norway in the game.
On this May 17th, Constitution Day in Norway, a huge holiday in that country. And Ludvig Hoff from Oslo as Norway back down by 1. 5:30 to go here in the second period. Latvia had a long 5-on-3, didn't connect. Norway, moments after that, gets one 5-on-5, and now you're back into a game.
And it's funny how the psychology of what's happened at this point. Latvia should feel great. The shots are 21-9. They played awesome. Does it look like they feel great? Not one bit. Mary Svitolin is stone-faced because all that good work was undone by an inability to score on all these power plays, long 5-on-3, and then one bad decision at the blue line by A-balls, clean 2-on-1, and a nice shot by Hoff. And Norway's right in a game they have no business being in. How it goes. And if they go to the dressing room like this, Norway will be energized, and Latvia, even though they're leading, will feel somehow deflated.
Shootout win by Norway here in Riga in 2021 against Latvia that derailed the Latvians' hopes of the quarterfinals.
And perhaps Tobias Johansson was thinking that his passionate reaction to the second goal again would light his team up. Didn't really work as Latvia kept playing well, but he has his team in a good spot now.
Got the Constitution Day ribbon on.
Pretty good at viewing numbers in Norway today. Holiday.
England Anderson takes that back to the point, shoots. Hit the ski of Balinskis. Zirkov to Balinskis, who jumps in. Balinskis back for Zirkov, shoots, puck from save, rebound cleared away. Now a chance the other way for Olam. He was squeezed on the puck. Salston slides into Haga. Haga shoots. That's blocked as Yak's gotten away.
Balinskis is a lovely skater. Just effortlessly flies up the ice.
And not afraid to jump in.
Well, you see it like that, why wouldn't you?
Stolen by Sondre Olman, sends it back in. Martinson goes after Chetness, caught an edge, went face first into the boards. Forward to Bukart, sweeps that back down to the Norwegian zone. Bukart's got dumped there by Olden. At center ice, Chetness sweeps that down, a bouncing puck picked up by Samolskis. It back, the Drasses look back for a penalty coming to Norway. A wide open net there, missed. Here's Ross Freiberg's on it. Dogovic steps on as the extra skater. And Drashes. Back for Freibergs. Finally touched up by Norway with 3:39 to go in the third, or in second rather. Another Latvian power play. Their third of the period.
What a chance here. Zarek slides it in. Drastis. I don't think Zarek is expecting this puck back. Look at his body language after he makes a pass. Stick on his knees. He's watching him shoot in the empty net. What? Puck's here. Well. And then Lilleberg does a good job getting his leg in the way. Another play. Even in Drastis, a really sweet pass, but you're right in front. Scored. You need to shoot to score. They should shoot some more.
Dogovic to drive, and Hockman the save on that.
Grabbed by Hockman. It's a slow developing play, so it's just going to be one-on-one with the shooter. Hockman sliding right, though. He's thinking about the guy in front.
The Latvian power play let them down in that 2-1 loss to Slovakia. They went 0 for 4 on the man advantage in that game, and a couple of late power plays didn't connect.
Well, if they don't win this game, they'll say the same.
Balinskis for Dogovic. Dogovic directing traffic, crisscrossing it with Balcers. Balinskis holds, Balcers winds in, threads it across, the Drastis shoots, Hockman the save, there's no rebound.
It's good motion by Balcers to get to the middle. Everyone will collapse around you, and then you can try to find another better option. He gets to a Drastis, but the puck is a little bit towards his skates, so he can't catch it as quickly as he wants to. And Hoffman's able to make the save, but better motion so far on this power play for Latvia.
Off the face-off won by Salston, sent down the ice by Liljeberg. And Liljeberg, a fourth-round pick of Arizona in 2021. Misfires for Dogovic, icing on the power play. That'll cost you 5 down and backs in practice if you do that.
Yeah. The good news is they can't take you off because it's an icing. So you get to stay out there even if they wanted to.
They can stare at you.
Yeah. They can tell you to change, but you probably won't because you'll have the puck going in the offensive zone again. So you buy yourself another opportunity.
Drops it back to Balinskis. Balls fires that down. Bad bounce in the corner. Almost caught Hockman looking the wrong way. At the point, Balinskis can't hold him. Liljeberg slides out ahead. Balinskis being forced there by Berg Paulsen. Aballs has it back. 40 seconds to go in the Latvian power play. It's been a momentum killer here in the second period.
Sucked the life right out of the building. You don't want to say the game was over, but had they scored to make it 3-0.
Zirkals works in. A penalty coming here.
Interference to Latvia. Not only do they not score, Gord, they take a penalty while on the power play. Insult to injury.
Latvia, number 26, minor penalty for interference.
Uvas Balinskas goes off. Balinskas just signed to a one-year deal by the Florida Panthers.
It's a gentle nudge on Berg Paulsen. Yeah, be interesting to see him in North America next year.
Had a good year in Czechia.
I wonder if he's cheering for the Panthers now. Hasn't, you know, he doesn't know anyone in that organization, but he's part of it.
Kubin said, wait, I'm going to play there? Oh, that was nice. Round cheats. Pass is broken up as Sabolska's trying to play it. And now Norway to a brief power play for a minute and 39 seconds. Martinson steps out. And a chance for Norway to tie this game before the end of the second period. Great personnel on the ice. Madison for Anderson. Anderson sends it back in. And Sabolskis fires that right back down the ice. Norway had 3 power plays in the first period. Salston, nothing to show for him. Here's Olam on it. Final minute now, the second period. Martinson. Chukstang tied him up. Off the glass it goes. Time Sheets plays that back to center ice. Norstabo. Back across to Haga. Wanting it ahead for Olam. Olam pivots back in a race there by Kanya. Kennich can't clear it out. Norstabo keeps it alive. In for Olam. 20 seconds to go in the period. Trenton has a shot. He hammered it wide. Haga back with it. Feeds it back to Norstabo. Norstabo back across to Haga. Walks right in. Drops it back to Norstabo. Final seconds now of the period. Here's Norstabo. Shoots. That's deflected away. And they'll go to intermission with Latvia leading Norway 2-1. This is the 2023 World Hockey Championship from Riga, Latvia.
Latvia 2, Norway 1. Shots on goal in the second period. Norway 1, Latvia 17.
Tampere vasaus čempionāta spēlē rezultāts starp ASV un Austrijas izlasēm 2-1.
In Tampere, the score after second period between USA and Austria is 2-1.
Latvia leads after 2 periods of play. Artur Silovs allowed a goal, and the only shot he faced from Norway in that second period. Henrik Hockland was under siege for long stretches and held his team in during a long Latvian power play, including a 5-on-3. There's 2 seconds to go on the penalty. Uvas Balinskis of Latvia. Another knee knocker between Latvia and Norway. 2 of the last 4 games have gone to overtime.
Down, please down. It's not out. Like, got it. Thank you. Okay, boys. Hey, 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 hey! Back up, back up, back up. Let's go. 6 down.
Referee Andre Schrader and his hands full as they're getting the face-off to start the period going. Teams are back to even strength. Latvia likely feels it deserves better than this 2-1 lead. Vikingstad to Thomas Olsen. Straight glove got in the way there, and Bernd Paulsen goes offside at the Latvian line.
Dogovic lost his top glove hand, which is very rare. Yeah, sometimes your bottom one falls off, but almost never your top one because it's attached to your stick all the time. So, interesting night for Dogovic. He's got the cut on the bridge of the nose. That's not a breathe right, despite him needing all the oxygen he can get. A clip from a penalty from a hit by Eric Salston.
That's fired on goal by Olden. Dribbles down and save made by Artur Silovs, the 22-year-old goaltender for Latvia. Played 44 games this year for Abbotsford in the American Hockey League. Had a .909 save percentage. 5 games with the Canucks. Had a 3-2 record.
And he was beat on the only shot he faced, but you can't say it was a bad goal. It was a 2-on-1, a good shot. He hadn't touched the puck in 45 minutes of real time. Squeak past. A lot of pressure now, though.
That shot hammered on goal by England Anderson.
Now we see why England Anderson's out there. He can really shoot the puck. A regular shift in this game while they look for some offense.
Now here's Trentnes with it. Matthias Trentnes down to Andreas Martinsen. Krokal steps up. Martinsen chips it back in front, picked up by Zirkals, and Latvia's away. Zirkals with Roberts Bukarts. Plays offside at the Norwegian blue line.
So for as frustrated as Latvia might be about where they are at in this game, Norway, on the other hand, would feel delighted that it's only a 1-goal game. They've not played well. They've taken a ton of penalties. Their goaltenders kept them in it.
And their coach, Tobias Johansson, said before the game, now we can achieve, not avoid, after their 1-0 win over Slovenia, combined with a point from a shootout loss to Kazakhstan. with some clear of relegation, they'd have to really go on a run and against some hard teams to make a run at the quarterfinal spot. They got Czechia, Canada, and Slovakia yet on the schedule.
I guess they would be hoping to get a win here, find one against those three teams, but that still might not be enough. But for them, they're playing on a national holiday.
Yeah.
Trying to beat a team that is in their weight class.
Eric Salton moves that down. Haga couldn't reach it. And now Salton has it back. Across he goes to Norstabo. Matthias Norstabo plays in the Swedish Allsvenskan League for Salton. Shoots! And Eric Salton turned away by Seelovs.
A broken neutral zone play there for Latvia. And Eric Salton, who's been around the net an awful lot this game. Crashing and banging around the crease, skates into one with a pretty good wrister from the high slot. Eric Salton, whose brother, Harvard Salton, I want to call him Harvard every day. He's a Harvard man, the Harvard man. Not the Olin brothers, the new brother Giacomo.
Valinskas up to center ice. Zerich sends that rink wide to Krastenberg. Krastenberg shoots. Hoffman gets an arm on that. Lilleberg bounces in behind him. Lilleberg up ahead to Hoff. That's knocked away and picked up by Sabelskas. USA with a 3-1 lead on Austria and Tampere. Lane Hudson scored a beautiful end-to-end goal for the U.S., the third goal for them.
I'm looking forward to getting to a U.S. game and watch him play firsthand. He had one of the best draft plus 1 years ever in college. Like Brian Leach type production. Yeah. Now, he's diminutive, so he's small.
Diminutive work.
But, I mean, he produces. And he's always been small, so we'll see what he can do as offside called here. Dogman's trying to get a jump. You know, he gets ahead just a little bit.
And the faceoff comes all the way back to the Latvian zone. Latvia scored goals 39 seconds apart in the first period, allowed one shot. Norway scored on it in the second. The story of this game, though, for both teams has been missed opportunities on the power play.
I guess we'll have to give the penalty killers and goaltenders some credit for that. But the power play guys would not be happy with their game tonight.
Still to come, Canada against Kazakhstan later on this evening. Viking style. Pulls that free. England Anderson has that shot deflect wide. Bernd Paulsen goes after it. Instead of goodbye, they say Latvia at the end of that verse. Mamchits. Got up in the corner by Bernd Paulsen. Tries to work that free, and Bernd Paulsen does. Bernd Paulsen scored the only goal for Norway in that 1-0 win over Slovenia. Here's Thomas Olsson. Becky Johannesson, that's picked off. Zila for Dogovic. Tried to kick that ahead. Baltzers couldn't reach it. England Anderson plays for Sternian in the Norwegian League. At center ice, Batya picks that off. Off the glass it goes. Think about for Norway, had they been able to hold those two-goal leads against Kazakhstan in the opener, they'd be in a much different situation.
Then we'd be talking about the last game for them against Slovakia, likely deciding whether they make it or not. And ship has sailed. They can only do what's in front of them now. And we'll see if Latvia can continue to play. They were so good in the second period. We'll just see if they try to defend and peel back.
Janis Jaks works back into the corner, drops that back for Anderson, who has a goal in this game. Smirnov's a shot, knocked away by Hockland. Lilleberg from the line, but not out, kept alive by Jaks, who sweeps it back in deep. Anderson, big hit there on Haga. Norstabo brings it back the other way to Lilleberg. Lilleberg Works it and shoots. That goes off the stick of Freybergs and wide. Kennich, back around to Freybergs. Lost the puck there. Now a chance for Olam, turned away by Seelov. At the point is Norstebo. Trying to throw that rig wide, came on the wrong side of the blue line. Hoff, who has the Norwegian goal, back with it. Solston for Hoff, that's broken up. Kennich has it back now for Latvia. Madison got bumped off the puck there by Zerinch. And here's Mamchits back with it. Valinskas plays that back to the Norwegian zone. Krastenberg's after it. Zerinch works that free. Krastenberg back to Valinskas. Shot was blocked. Zerinch reaching for it. Howard Solston drops it back to Hoff, sends it back in front, bouncing puck, and scooped up by Riaz Bukarts. Dogovic walks in, poke check there by Krogdahl. 6 gone here in the third period. Krogdahl knocked down by Dogovic. Lead pass doesn't reach. Petter Vesterheim plays for Mora in Sweden's Allsvenskan, their second league.
Oh, powerhouse franchise. I mean, they've been great up in the top league for a long time. When I played in Sweden, they were one of the top teams in the league. Great building, great fans.
Yeah, Myers in the second league now. Their arch rivals Modo from Ordskoldsvik got promotion this year in Sweden.
How about Djurgården? Are they back up?
No, I don't believe so. Yeah, the 2 Stockholm teams have been down in the second league for a couple of years now. AIK and Djurgården.
Gotta fix that.
They tried. They expanded the league from 12 to 14. They still got relegated. Batya with it. Works back in. Batya. Here's Bernd Paulsen with it.
All this running clock is just fine with Latvia. Neutral zone play, back and forth.
Norstebo. Great wide for Oljeberg. Swings that back to Norstebo. Andreas Martinsen, used by Kennich. Kennich, a little between the legs pass there to center ice. Anderson scoops up and tips that back down to the Norwegian zone. Martinsen sweeps out of the Latvian end. He got tied up in center ice by Kennich. Kennich for Smirnov. In with Krastenberg. Kennich back to Valinskas. Gets around Martinsen. And Johannesson has it back for Norway. We got tied up on Krastenbergs. Kennich back for Krastenbergs. Walks out. Poke check there. As England Anderson got a stick on that.
Krastenberg's been a nice addition for Latvia. He's added a little jolt of pace to their team.
Olam winds his way in. Ken Andre rather winds his way in. Mathis is retired now. Eric Solston drops that back. Haga feeds it across. And the shot gets down to Seelovs. A great look there for Matthias Norvisto. Seelovs makes the save. Remains 2-1 Latvia. Balcers works in around and goes to Dogovic. Whose nickname is Dog, and apparently after he scores, when he does the fly by the bench, he barks.
I like it. Lean into the character.
Williamberg back to Salston, shoots, knocked away by Seelovs. Sabolskis banks it back around. Eric Salston has it taken away by A-balls. And Norstabo back with it. Up ahead for and Andre Olam. Played for Schwenninger this year in the German league. Hoff, rink wide, that shot for Hubbard. Salston shoots, it was blocked by Chukstag. Now picked up behind the goal. Vesterheim to the point. Johannesson shoots, that deflected wide as Zirgal's gotten away. Hoff trying to kick that free. He has the Norwegian goal in this game. Hoff back in the corner. Howard Salston picks it back up. Salston got spun around in the corner. Now Batya plays it back around for Chukstad. Past the midway point for the third period. Lead pass, Bernd Paulsen sends it down. Seelovs made the save. He got his catching glove skated through. We're going to call a crease violation against Norway. The face-off will go outside when we come back. Four games between Latvia and Norway have been decided by 1 goal, 2 of them in overtime, and it's a 2-1 lead here for Latvia with 9:04 to go in the third period, a game that Latvia has to have. Probably regulation.
And that's the thing, it starts to matter. They can't chip away points here and there. They already won one game in overtime.
The end boards. Smirnov's reaching for it, and a penalty coming to Latvia.
Ooh, I wasn't sure who was going to be called that. They both looked like they were tangled up together.
Going to be Smirnov's who goes. And so Anderson's touches up, and with 8:41 to go in the period, Norway's going back to the power play.
And that was a genuine question. I wasn't sure. Smirnov's going in, Kazastool sees him going up there, so they reach out for each other. I guess it's a bit of, not quite a slew foot, but an upper half slew foot. It's a slew shoulder. And Smirnov's is not happy about that. That call's going to leave a bitter taste in his mouth.
Norway's 0 for 4 in the game. And after scoring their first 2 power plays in the tournament, 0 for the last 12.
And listen, timing's everything. You need one now.
They scored their only shot of the second. Can they be opportunistic again here? Eric Salston for the face-off against the veteran Andres Zerinc. Former Kingston Frontenac in the Ontario League, who scored the first goal for Kingston in the new building at the time, the K-Rock Center. both of Norway's power play goals. That's sent down the ice by Chukstay, who's been a great penalty
He almost, he put it out.
He did.
Hockey just put it right out.
That's it. That's delay of game.
Oh my goodness! Did it graze the top of the glass?
Edmund Anderson is arguing touched the glass.
Let's make sure it didn't graze anything on the way over. The quick up gone awry.
Norway number 33, minor penalty for delay of game.
Oh my goodness.
Unforced error for Norway.
You just don't see this happen from a goaltender trying to pass it. It's rolling on him a little bit, and it sails. No, wait a second. Did that catch
the top of the glass?
But there's a T there. If it hits the top of the glass, it's not over the glass. It can hit the top part.
Yeah.
Any contact voids it. That hits something on the way over. Now, there is glass that runs perpendicular to the sideboards that separate the player from the timekeepers. Whoa.
Now 4-on-4, Belinskas walks in and shoots. Huck with a save on that. Wow. Chukstay clears that out. Here's A-balls on it. A-balls. Hey, Belinskas walks in and shoots. Huck with a save. Point blank. Oh, there was Belinskas.
Again, and the same exact shot again by Belinskas. Exact same as last time on the breakaway.
Here comes Dogovich. Works in, pokes up towards the goal. Huckman makes the save.
Sent in twice alone by A-balls.
In comes Trentinez now on the 4-on-4. Matias Trentinez. Pivots back, tied up by Belinskas. Johannesson from Liljeberg. In 30 seconds, Latvia will go to a brief power play. Hoff, England Anderson. Drops it off to Ludwig Hoff, who has the Norwegian goal. He's knocked out as Kennan stepped into him. Hoff has time, swings it back. Johannesson with a shot. Knocked there by Seelovs. And now, Latvia with a 28-second power play as Smirnov steps back on the ice. 6.5 to go here to the third period. Belinskas walks right in. Here he comes again. Belinskas can't get a shot away. As Howard Salston going to stick on him.
Paul Coffey out there right now.
Paul's Coffees. Thomas Bugard shoots to put that wide. Olin steps out. In comes Olsen with it. Thomas Olsen. Back to 5-on-5. 6 to go in the third. Olsen trying to work that free. Move back, Trentinez shoots. That's blocked by Sabolskas. Norway out shooting Latvia 8-5 here in the third period. Cheats. Here's Sabolskas knocked down by Trentinez. For Olden throws that towards the goal. Martinson couldn't reach it. Krogdahl knocks it down. Kastel's shot. And Seelovs makes the save. Latvia and Norway in a tight one with 5:24 to go in the third. zone, 5:24 to go in the third period. Latvia has led since the early part of the first period when they scored goals 39 seconds apart. Krastenbergs winds in. Latvia make it stand up. Away comes Ken Andreola. Winds in, throws it in deep for Haga. Michael Haga. Winds it and shoots. Goes off the leg of Zile. Freiberg's on it. Buchard chips it back to center ice. Liljeberg back on it. Krastenbergs quickly ahead. Eric Solston in the corner from Olam. Haga digs it free. Here's Olam back on it. At the line, helped by Johannesson. Swings it across. That shot was blocked from England. Anderson. Now a bouncing puck at center ice into the feet of Baltzers, but taken back by England Anderson. Paulson looks into Olsen, picked off by Chukste. Dogovic chips it back down to the Norwegian line. USA a 4-1 win over Austria, keeping its rule going in Group A.
Not every game's gonna be pretty, but getting the results. And for Latvia, that's getting through these last 4 minutes. For Norway, we'll get one, see if you can't get this thing to overtime.
Chukste banks it off the boards. Move back down to the Norwegian zone. 3.5 to go in the third. Vikingstad peels back with it. Marcus Vikingstad plays for Fishtown in the German league. Drops it back. Martinson shoots. It goes off a leg. Bounces right back in front. Zirkal's played that away. England Anderson kept it alive for a moment. Olsen back ahead of England Anderson. But the puck was played with a high stick. 3:11 to go.
Penalty coming up for a high stick.
I think Martinson
is cut in front of the Latvian bench.
I mean, Martinson is a big guy, but that's undisciplined. He said just a 2. He's looking to finish this check on Zirkal, trying to get over the blue line. And, oh man, just rides his stick right up into his chin.
Well, you think about that, the over-the-glass penalty on Hawkland with Norway on the power play.
It's killing them, killing their chance to come back. So now, maybe Latvia scores, but at the very least, 2 minutes off the clock. Right. Interesting though, I see 4 forwards on the ice, still. You know Norway's sniffing and will be going at any chance they can. You put a lot of faith in Kenich and Andersons and Yaks to make sure you're responsible defensively.
Janis Yaks, the lone defenseman out there. Yaks in a race for it, got it away from Olam and sent it back in.
I'm all about offense, but I would have 2 defensemen on the ice right now.
In Norway, number 27.
Here in Riga, we welcome those of you who are watching the United States defeat Austria in Tampere. Brought in by Toms Anderson, who has a goal in his 2-1 Latvian lead on Norway. All the scoring done in the second period. Goals 39 seconds apart for the Latvians, and Norway scored its only shot of the period. Latvia with power play here late. Dogovic to Kenich. Back down to the captain, Dogovic. Back for Janis Yaks. Across it goes to A-Balls. Feeds it back across. Dogovic, a hard shot. Hawkland makes the save.
It's a good save by Hogland. It's the seam pass from A-Balls to Dogovic, but it's coming hard. It's going to be really hard to elevate when the pass is this hard. Dogovic gets a lot on it, but Hawkland there to take the bottom of the net away, get the whistle.
1:10 to go in this Latvian power play. High sticking call to Andreas Martinson. Earlier, Norway had a power play, a chance to get back into the goaltender. Henrik Hockland put the puck over the glass. And it has looked and sounded like this since before the opening faceoff. Latvia energized by an overtime win over Czechia in its last game.
Oh, it's gonna be a hook. Oh my goodness, on Zile.
Yeah, and Balcers fired the puck into the end boards after the penalty call, and that drew a warning to the officials. Wow, Christoph Zile goes off. So with exactly 2 to go, it's 4-on-4 in 49 seconds.
Or does Norway pull their goalie now to get the 5-on-4?
They're talking it over the bench. They've not officially called timeout.
There goes Hockland. He's on the bench. He's sliding around into the goalie depot.
So Norway has taken timeout. So looks like they'll pull the goaltender here. What do you think?
Well, no, he's getting shoved back on. Hockland tried to pull himself and went back with his backup. But now I think they're going to have him on the ice with the neutral zone face-off. No, face-off in the offensive zone. So maybe until they get control of it. 4-on-4.
What do you think?
You're going to have a minute 10, 5-on-4 anyways. When your guy steps out, 5-on-4, 6-on-4. So I get this actually. You know what? Give yourself a chance to play it 5-on-4 straight up and then get the goalie up to 6-on-4. Don't give them a cheap empty netter unless you get full control. If you get full control, which might be hard to come by 4-on-4, then maybe you expedite your power play by getting your goalie out.
Trepidez for the face-off against Rodrigo Imols.
He's coming quick. I got one guy hanging half over the board.
Yeah. On comes the extra skater, Thomas Olsen. Ola. Work set down to Trepidez. So it's 5 skaters on 4 with the net empty for Norway. Norstebo to Trepidez. Trepidez looks back to Norstebo, to Haga. Haga up there by Dogovic. Haga feeds that back to Norstebo. Back across to Trepidez. Trepidez to Norstebo. Haga fans on the shot. Norstebo holds the line. Trepidez back to Norstebo. Final seconds now, the penalty. Trepidez shoots at the flex wide. Olin back with it. Martinson set the step back on, he does. And Norway now with a 6-on-4 power play. Trepidez with Martinson going to the front of the net. Norstebo fans on the shot. Amos couldn't reach it. Trepidez back for Norstebo. Final minute out of the period. Shoots! And Silovs makes the save with Martinson standing right there.
They won the face-off, Norway did. Got the goalie out, had the full
5-on-4. Now it's a 6-on-4. Martinson plants himself. Silovs, look at that. He's looking up over top of Martinson. The 6'4" Silovs looking over the 6'3" Martinson. Pays to be tall. Doesn't look around him. Goes up and over. Able to spot the puck to make the save.
Face-off remains in the Latvian zone. This will be Berg Paulsen for the draw against Andras Zaric, who is Latvia's best. And he wins it. Chuck Stay couldn't squeeze that by England Anderson. Eric Salston for Berg Paulsen. Back to England Anderson. Johannesson was shot. That was blocked by Batya. Looking for the empty net. Couldn't reach it. Scrambled. Caught at the line. It's held once again. What a play there by Olden. Berg Paulsen. 30 seconds to go in the third. Better crossing when Anderson shoots. That's blocked by Zaric. And Zaric gets to it. Knocked down by Johannesson. Couldn't hold the line. England Anderson to Martinson. And down the ice it goes. 10 seconds to go. Johannesson to England Anderson. Gains the blue line. Here's Olden with it. Seconds left. He swings it around. They won't get a shot away. And Latvia wins it. A nail-biting knee over Norway. Latvia is now 2-2. Norway drops to 1-3. And Latvia, with games remaining now against Slovenia, Kazakhstan, and Switzerland, can see a path to the quarterfinals.
They had to defend hard at the end of the game. Seeloff was excellent. Penalty killers, full credit. And the willingness to throw themselves in front of shots, to block and defend and try to secure the victory. Spurred on by the crowd. That was a
stick around. You're going to want to hear these fans sing the Latvian national anthem. A bitter loss for Norway on their Constitution Day, a big holiday in Norway. Final shots were 32-21 in favor of Latvia, which outshot Norway 26-10 in the first two periods. But they hang on to win it 2-1. Another one-goal game. 4 of the last 5 between these two have been one-goal games. And Latvia's next is against Slovenia on Friday. Norway has Czechia on Saturday. And time now for the player of the game presentations, and then we'll get the Latvian national anthem.
Labākos apbalvos Latvijas Republikas Saeimas priekšsēdētājs Edvards Smiltēns un Norvēģijas hokeja asociācijas prezidents Tage Petersens.
The prizes will be presented by Edvards Smiltēns, Speaker of the Saima of the Republic of Latvia, and Tage Petersen, President of the Norwegian Ice Hockey Association.
Labākais spēlētājs Norvēģijas komandā.
Best player for Team Norway, number 43.
Max Kropdals.
Max Kropdal, 22-year-old, one of the young players they've been working in the lineup for Norway.
Labākais spēlētājs Latvijas izlasē.
Best player for Team Latvia.
Numur 18, number 18, Rodrigo Abols.
And Rodrigo Abols, player of the game for Latvia, the opening goal for them on a power play. As Latvia wins it 2-1.
Dāmas un kungi, lūdzam piecelties par godu Latvijas valsts himnai.
Dear all, please rise if you are able to for the national anthem of Latvia.
shot in the second period. That shot was your goal, but outside of that, nothing else created. What was causing the trouble?
Hard to say. I think we got a little bit too excited to try to win the puck in the offensive zone, and they kind of beat our third man high and created a lot of odd man rushes. So yeah, that second period lost us the game, I'd say.
You came out flying in the third, 11 shots. What was the messaging in between periods?
Have a better F3 and get pucks to the net and hope for a good bounce. So.
Constitution Day back home, anything you want to say to family and friends back there that are cheering you on?
Gratulerer med dagen.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Today is your birthday. How is that for a gift?
Wonderful. That was the only gift I wanted today, so the big win for us.
Absolutely. Your team got your first power play goal of the tournament today. What was the adjustment that made that happen?
I don't know, lucky shot, shoot the puck, you know. It was the whole second period was tough for us. We didn't score. We had 17 shots, 0 goals, and they had 1 shot and 1 goal, so it was tough. The second period, intermission was tough for us, like mentally, but coach brought us up and we figured it out.
The team held on to a win, got a win in regulation. What does that feel like for the team now that you got the ball rolling with 2 wins under your belt?
It's a confident booster for us, and we need to take 1 game at a time, and next game, because we lost a couple 2 games before, so we need to win all the games to make it to quarterfinals.
Can you answer this question in Latvian? How much do the fans here help carry you guys through a close game like this?
Mūsu fani līdzjutēji palīdz mums ļoti, jo tas ir tā kā dzinuls. Dažus periodus mēs nosēdāmies, dažus momentus, bet fani mūs pacēla sajūta, un paldies viņiem, un piecēla mūs dažreiz, ka vajadzēja pamodināt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll celebrate.
Šajā krāsainā pasaulē, šajā pasaulē.